What up, everybody? Clister here, Clist One Tattoos. I'm gonna show you guys how I set up for a tattoo, all right? First off, before anything, you gotta sanitize your hands, all right? Sanitize, wash your hands and sanitize. I already washed my hands, so we're gonna sanitize right now. Get it nice and clean. I do my whole arm because you never know what's on there. It could be dirty or something. You put your hand in before. Put gloves on, you know, pretty standard stuff right here. So, this is alcohol right here. I spray everything down with alcohol. Just kills everything that's there. After every tattoo, I use something called Maschine. This kills everything. And then we gotta wrap everything with plastic. I just use this regular plastic right here, food service plastic. You get this at Smart and Final, but this just creates a barrier between everything. So nice and clean, nice and sanitary. With plastic, you know what I mean? You don't want any germs or bacteria, anything could be living there, so we don't want any of that there. All right, so same thing, I'm gonna spray. So, I really like these things right here, especially when I'm doing color because they have, how many is that? Like 36 colors or whatever, 24 colors you can put out. And I hate setting up that many ink caps. So I buy these are pretty cheap. It's like you get like 20 in a pack, and it has place for your cartridges, your water, and then all the ink that you need, you know. That right there, you gotta make sure you bag everything. And that is ready to go. All right. So now we get to our machines. So as you can see here, I got a bunch of different machines. This is the one I use a lot, especially when I'm doing something that has like color, line work, and black and gray, because this is a very well-rounded machine. It's an Inkjecta, what is this, a Flite Nano? Yeah, Inkjecta Flite Nano. I use this machine a lot because I can line with it, I can color pack with it, and I can shade black and gray. There's other machines that do all those things, like only do those things, but this is probably one of the most well-rounded machines that I've used, okay? So, how I set my machine up, I get one of these things. This is just like a little cushion for your hand, called like a tube cushion. So I spray this down with alcohol, spray my machine down with alcohol, boom, and then I slide this over. Just like that. And then I wrap it up. Where is mine? Then I wrap it up with some of this Sani Wrap. So it really helps your hand, because if you got a skinny grip and you got a long tattoo, like your hand's gonna hurt, you know, by the end of the tattoo. And it really helps your hand while you're tattooing. Next thing is my RCA cord. Cover this too. Bam, like so. This is, you know, just real quick, pretty self-explanatory right here. So this is gonna be a bigger piece, so I'm probably gonna start off with about 15 paper towels. Get these ready to go. I like to just get them out and then fold them so they're ready to go while I'm tattooing, you know, so, all right. Now that that's done, I get out some A&D ointment. A&D ointment, you use this to kind of clean the area that you're tattooing. This helps get the ink off. It also helps lubricate the skin, help the needle penetrate a little better. I don't use this with every stroke of the tattoo. I just use it when needed, especially if I'm doing color. It gets a little messy, so I use the A&D like that. And then pour out my inks. Today we're probably gonna use, it's gonna be mostly black and gray. This is probably my favorite black that I use. It's a Fusion black. So I fill up one full cap, solid black, halfway. This next cap, probably about 5 drops. Next cap, boom, boom, boom. And then the next cap, just 2. Man, perfect. All right. And then I use witch hazel to dilute my ink. You can use distilled water. I like witch hazel. This is what I started with, but either one, it doesn't really matter. And then we just fill them up, bam. Just like that. Good to go. In this tattoo, I'm probably gonna use, sometimes you'll see in tattoos that people, like you'll see a very soft gray and they're like, dang, how did they do that? Usually it's with an opaque gray, and you could either dilute these the same ways that I just did, or you could use them straight along, but I use a little bit of this just to give my tattoos a little extra oomph, you know? So that was like a 40% gray. This is a 60% gray of Eternal Ink, all right? And then, of course, we use our white. This is Starbrite white. I like this. This really sticks well, I think. This is the one I use. There's lots of them out there, but this is just the one I use. I probably just have one cap of that. And then you pour your water, and I think we're pretty much good to go. I'm gonna get my needles out. Oh, actually, let me get my needles real quick. So for this tattoo, my needle drawer is pretty messy, but for this tattoo, I'm gonna use, let's say, what's this? This is a 7. This is a 7 round I'm gonna use. I'm also gonna use this is an 8 round shader. This one I use when I need solid, like a 8 round shader. I use this when I need solid, small areas, you know. For solid big areas, I usually use a mag, all right? The next one I'm gonna use is a 3 tight. 3 tight is just for nice fine line, anything realistic. I use a 3 tight. Then I'm gonna use a 15 curved mag. I use this for large areas. It's a curved mag. It has soft edges. A lot of my soft shading I do with this one. And then next, we're gonna use a 7 curved mag. Now this is probably one of my favorite needles, just because it's so versatile. The 7 curved mag is so versatile. I could get into tight, small areas. I could do large areas if I wanted to with this. It's a little more time consuming. I could color pack. I could even line with this, believe it or not. So if I turn it on its edge, I could do some line work with this a little bit. So yeah, these are my needle groupings. 7 curved, 15 curved. This is a 3 tight for fine line. This is an 8 round shader for real tight solid areas, and this is a 7 round just to have some different line weight. Okay, so Inkjecta, ink cartridges, ink setup. I think we're ready to rock. Let's put the stencil on and then we'll get it cracking. Okay. All right, guys. So we're getting the stencil ready. This is the piece we're gonna do today. It's for my sister. It's a cocoon butterfly, little growth tattoo, I guess, personal growth tattoo. Okay, so let's get our stencil ready. I use this machine. It's a cheap one, but it works. You know, I probably got to buy a new one like once every year and a half. But the really nice ones are probably about $800 to $1,000, and I figure I buy 8 of these, then I have one of those really nice ones. So I use this one. It's nice. It works. So that's all I'm really worried about. We're getting our stencil ready. It's printing out right now. Oh, beautiful. Ready to rock. Cool. So I just take this off and then just cut it out. So I put little cuts around it. This helps it just like form to the skin a little better. They're called like stress cuts or whatever. So it helps it not like crinkle when you put the stencil on. So here's our stencil and it's ready to go. Let's do it. Important thing to remember before you put a stencil on, you always want to clean the skin with alcohol. You don't know what's there, or, you know, so make sure you clean the skin. There could always be bacteria or something living on the skin, so make sure you clean it. So I just spray with alcohol. I use Stencil Stuff. I've been using this ever since I started, so it's just what works for me. There's tons of them out there, but this is the one I use. When you put it on, you gotta make sure you rub it in really good, because if it's too like you see, if it's too wet right there, it's gonna make the stencil smear, and that sucks when that happens and you gotta redo the stencil. So just rub it on really good. Make sure it's kind of sticky. Just size it on her arm real quick. It's pretty good right there, I think. All right, boom, let's put it on. So I just take my hand, make it flat, and kind of just smooth it out. All the areas right there. Boom. Yeah, get it real nice, get all the little creases out. And you see how it's kind of, you can kind of see it's not very smeared through there, so that means that I did my stencil stuff pretty good, I think. So with your stencil, you want to let it dry for probably about 5 or 10 minutes. Usually I put the stencil on first, and then I set up everything. I did it backwards today, but usually I put the stencil on first, then I set up everything. That gives it a nice, you know, good 5 or 10 minutes to dry before you ever start tattooing. All right, we're gonna let that dry, and then we're gonna start tattooing. Let's get it started.